Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. Man, I just watched the car a couple nights ago, so it's been under the car cover for a few days, and I just took the cover off, and man, every single time this car is clean, even when it's dirty, I'm like blown away how cool this car is. Honestly, to me, I think it is the best looking sedan sports car ever made. I think this thing looks just absolutely incredible. But what we're going to be doing in this video is actually a really cool interior modification. This is actually something that I noticed personally driving one night. It's not something that I researched or I saw other people doing. It was something that I came across and I was like, huh, that's weird. Why isn't it like that? So what I'm actually talking about is the little seat lights on the interior. So on M3, M4s in the F80X generation, they had these on the seats, which are really cool. So as you can see, it lights up. It's a really cool feature on the interior of these cars. I absolutely love how it looks. They have them on the current G80X generation as well. And they also have an M3s, M4s, M5s, pretty much every M car with M seats. I think it's a really nice touch, and it's one of those things that makes this car even more special than it already is. However, I noticed when you're actually driving, these turn off. These actually only turn on with the interior lights. So once the interior lights fade off, so when you're driving, these turn off. I was driving the other night, not even really paying attention, and I just so happened to look over at the passenger side, and I was like, wait, why isn't that light not on? So I started doing some research, started looking into it, and then I realized that they only stay on when the interior lights are on. Once you're driving, you know, and actually inside the car experiencing it, these turn off. I know it seems like a very, very small detail, but to me, this is a really cool feature. And I was like, why didn't BMW just leave them on? I went on the internet, I looked on the forums, and I was like, there's gotta be a solution out there to keep those little M lights on. You can actually see them right there. And sure enough, somebody actually came out with a kit to be able to do that. The company is called Mod Emporium. Really, really cool. They came out with this little hardwire kit. It is really, really simple. As you can see, it is just 2 wires and a wire tap. You get some heat shrink and some zip ties. So a really, really simple kit. Basically, all we're going to be doing is depinning the lights for the seats into these and then tapping into a power source. So as you can see, the lights are off because the interior lights turned off. So what we're actually going to be doing is installing this. It's a really simple process. You just need to know what you're doing. I'm going to walk you through the entire thing on this video so you guys can take it step by step and do this yourself. I know it's a really small thing, but to me, it matters. And when I'm driving at night and I see the passenger light on the seat, it's going to make me happy. So let's go ahead and let's get started. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to be working on the passenger side. It's going to be exactly the same on the driver's side, but it's going to be a little bit harder for me because we have a giant box over there. It's actually one of the Christmas presents for our kids, so it's going to be a little tough to get over there, but I'm going to be working over here. It's going to be the exact same process on the driver's side, but so the first thing that we actually need to do, this is just a precautionary step, something that I recommend if you do any type of electrical work on a car or you're messing with wires, and that is to actually take off the negative terminal on the battery. On the M3, on the F80, the battery is in the trunk on the passenger side right here. So all we're going to do is twist this little knob, and then this little kind of cubby pops out, and then you got access to the battery. So we're going to remove that. I believe that is a 10 millimeter or 12 millimeter. I'll let you know, and then we can move on to the next step. All right, so it is a 10 millimeter. So I'm going to take my socket. Be careful you don't hit the wrench on the terminal, and we're just going to loosen it. Now it's loose, we can take it off the terminal there. And something that I recommend is taking a microfiber towel, some type of towel, and actually putting it on the terminal when you put this to the side, because you don't want this coming into contact when you are working. So having the towel there just makes it even more safe. All right, so we are on the passenger side. As you can see, one quick note, leave the battery attached for 1 second so you can actually move this seat so it's angled back. All you do is actually going to position it so you get enough room to get under the seat. You're not going to have to unbolt it or anything like that. So make sure you do that before you take the battery off. All right, so as you can see, this is where we're actually going to be working. This is the main seat harness, and we need to remove this. So as you can see, there is a black kind of tab right here. We're simply just going to push the little tab in here and then push that black plastic bracket, and the whole entire plug slides out. So now we have access to the entire plug. So what we're actually going to be doing first is removing this little zip tie. So let me get some zip tie cutters and cut that off. All right, so what we actually going to do, let me position the light a little better, is take your cutters, whatever you do have, and cut the zip tie off. You just want to be careful. That is the only thing that you're cutting. You don't want to cut any wires. All right, so we got the zip tie cut. Now we can remove this so it is out of the way. So the next thing that we're actually going to do, now that we got the wire loose, is remove this whole black plastic piece. This is actually where all the pins are and all the wires. So on pre-LCIs, there's a tab on this side, but on LCIs and up, there's actually a black tab inside there. So we're actually going to take a small flathead and we're going to pop it out of place. There's a little kind of tab in there. It's kind of hard to show, but you're going to put it in the position and then twist the screwdriver so you get some leverage, and then this whole piece is going to slide out. All right, so what I did was get a little bit thicker flathead, and there is a tab in there, and you kind of just push up and then you twist. And when you do that, it releases, and now we're able to pull this whole piece out from the little yellow backing. All right, so we got the wire harness out of the little housing here, and now we're actually going to go to the 7th pin. So if we start from this side, you can actually count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's the one right here, and if we look what wire that is, it's actually the purple wire. So this is what we're actually looking for. Mine is purple with some little dots on there. It's gonna be hard to see, but that is the wire we're looking for. So if we look for the little connection point in there, we're gonna go ahead and push it in. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna add a little tension and pull there, and that's gonna slip out. All right, so what I did was just kind of push in with my flathead. There's a little tab on the connector, and once you clear it of the little kind of tab in there, it slips right out. So that is what we're looking for. Now, this wire is not going to be used, so they actually supply some heat shrink to be able to safely store that wire away. You can also use electrical tape if you want, but since they do supply the heat shrink, I'm going to use that. I'm also going to use electrical tape around that to be extra safe. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to get the new wire harness and tap into that same 7th pin, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So really simple, very straightforward. But let me go ahead and get this wire secured. All right, so here is the supplied heat shrink. So all we're gonna do is slip it over the wire that we just took out. Make sure it's in position like that. I'm just gonna use a little lighter to heat it up and form it around that wire. And then I'm going to use some electrical tape to make it super secure. Obviously, if you're using a lighter, be really careful. You don't wanna melt any wires or anything like that, but just add some heat, and as you can see, it's shrinking. All right, so that is what we're looking for. Now I'm gonna get some electrical tape, just wrap that up to be extra secure, and then we can move on to the next step. All right, so we got the wire harness supplied by Mod Emporium. What I actually recommend is slipping this wire underneath this rail, because we're actually going to be tapping into a wire on the back of the console here. So I want to make sure this wire is not going to get pinched. It's not going to get ran over by the rail. So putting it right under the rail here, there's a little hole. I just slipped, as you can see, the wire through there, and I'm going to tie it up nicely. I'm going to kind of tie it up underneath or in the center console here, so it's nice and clean. You're not going to be able to see it, but I just thought I would mention that because I don't want anybody to install this and then run it over with their seat once they put it back into position. So make sure you slip it under there. There's a nice little gap. It slips under really easily. All right, so all we're gonna do is simply do everything in reverse order. We're gonna take the new supplied tab. As you can kind of tell, there is a little tab on this wire, and you want that facing forward so it clips in. So we're simply just going to count over 7 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's actually right next to the white wire, and we're going to have the little tab facing you as you're installing it. Slip it into place, and you're actually hear it click in a little bit, and then you're gonna give it a little tug, and you are good. So as far as the passenger side, in terms of wiring, we are done. So we can go ahead and put this back together. You can put the yellow harness and everything back in. So I'm gonna go do that, plug it back into the seat, and then we can jump over to the driver's side. All right, so we got the harness and everything back into place. It just slips right in. It's pretty simple. As you can see, the new wire is sticking out, so I'm gonna zip tie it like this and keep it out of the way. So I'm just gonna take a quick zip tie that is supplied with the kit. Pull it tight, not too tight, but tight enough where it stays in position. Cut the end with my snips. Position this underneath so it's nice and hidden, it looks clean. And now we can go ahead and plug it right back into the seat harness. So all you gotta do is find your position. Oh, and also the wire that we're not using, that we heat shrunk and used some electrical tape on, I just kind of positioned it up so it's out of the way, not touching any of the terminals or anything. You should be fine, but I just did that just in case. So now we're just going to pop it right back into place like that. And we're going to take the little tab, click it back in, and we are set. So now I got all this extra wire that I can pull snug and position it into a good place. I'm going to clean up all the wiring once I'm finished, but we're good there. So now I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the driver's side. I'm going to do the exact same thing I did over here. I'm just not going to show you because it's the exact same thing. And then once we finish that side, we'll jump into the back and I'll show you how to tap for the power. All right, so we're actually over on the driver's side, and I figured I would mention this since there are different colored wires, and I just want to make it as clear as possible. It's the same exact wire as the passenger side. It's that purple wire right here. We're going to count over 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's actually right next to the yellow and red wire right here. As you can see, same purple wire. We're going to go ahead and remove that one. Same exact process. I just figured I'd mention that since I'm here. All right, so I got all the wires done on the actual seats. So now we are in the back of the M3. We're actually going to be tapping into the 12 volt back here, since this only lights up when the lights are on, the interior lights are on the car. So once you turn your lights on, it's going to power directly from here, and it's going to leave the seat badges on at all times. Now, it's pretty simple. If you look on the harness supplied, there is a wire tap. Simply just unscrew it, and then you screw it right back into the power supply that I'll show you back here, and you're done. Pretty simple. But let me go ahead and pull this off. You got to use a lot of force. I actually showed you how to remove this when I did the M Performance armrest over here, but we're simply just going to pull off on the sides and the whole piece comes out. All right, so we got the back console off. Now at this point, I recommend kind of tucking in all the wires from the front seats. Basically, this whole piece just kind of moves, so you're able to tuck it up pretty easily. So it's not the end of the world, but I do recommend doing it just so you can have the wire in the position that you want. But now we're actually going to tap for power. So if we look, there's 2 wires coming out right here. There is a brown wire, and then there's a red wire with a blue or gray stripe. Kind of hard to see from here, but we're going to be tapping into the red and gray blue wire on this side. Now, the little posi tap that is supplied by Mod Emporium, all you're going to do is twist off the little gray cap. So once you do that, you can actually see a little kind of needle in there. And what that's actually going to do is going to pierce the wire down there. And that's what's going to give us our power. So if you can see the little split in the gray piece, it's going to straddle the red and gray or red and blue wire. And then you simply just screw it down, tighten it up, and you got power. So let's go ahead and do that, and then see if this works. All right, so I went ahead and buttoned up the rear. I put the battery on and got everything situated. So where I ended up tucking the wire, you can see this little crease in the carpet right here. And that is actually right where the wire is ran underneath the rail. So I ran it under the rail, tucked it behind this piece of carpet right here. And then all I did was kind of shove it up in the console here. And you can't see it at all. It is completely hidden. Gonna be hard to show, but there is no wire at all being shown the whole way down and it just taps into the wire back there. So now I haven't tested it yet because I wanted to get not necessarily my real reaction, but want to see if I did it right and just capture that on camera. So technically, if I did it correctly, when I turn my lights on, the badge lights on the seat should turn on. So let me go ahead and turn it on. Now you can turn the headlights on or just the daytime running lights, the parking lights. So let's go ahead and try that. Bam! It worked. Sweet. Both of them work too, not just one. So that's pretty awesome. Now, when I turn my lights on or I'm driving at night, those seat lights will stay on while I'm driving. So it's gonna be a cool little feature. And when I'm driving, I can look over onto the passenger side and remember what kind of car I'm driving. Not that I think I would forget, but I just think that's a really cool little modification. It's not expensive to do, doesn't require too much work, and anybody can do it. I hate doing electrical work, but that was very, very simple. They did a video explaining everything that I just did, but I figured I'll make one on my own to show anybody that hasn't seen this modification yet. But let's go take a better look on the passenger side since I'm kind of crushed over here against the wall, and then we can wrap the video up. All right, so I turned some of the lights off in the garage so you guys can see it a little bit better. But there we go. There is the driver's side, looking awesome. I am really, really happy with this. Again, really simple modification, very simple to do. That took me literally about a half an hour, and that is with filming, and I was able to knock it out, do a very clean install. Yes, I understand this is a simple kit that you may be able to do it on your own. However, I really like supporting small businesses. I really enjoy people that take the time out to find solutions for us and offer them to the public. Whatever they charge, they charge. I just think it's really cool that people do this and they find a solution for all of us. I mean, this is a perfect example. I was like, hey, how come those lights aren't on? Looked on the forum, saw somebody made a solution for this, and I was like, you know what? I don't care what it costs. I'm gonna buy it because I think that's awesome. And that is what the car community is about, helping each other out. Whether they're monetizing it and making a few bucks off of this stuff, I don't mind it. I fully support it. It's something that they're offering for us car enthusiasts, to make our cars more enjoyable and more fun to own. So huge shout out to Mod Emporium for not only supplying the kit, but taking the time to create it and obviously offering it in a cool little kit. I also forgot to mention that they supplied a little screwdriver in the kit as well. So I didn't end up using it, but they supply, sorry, it's a little dark in here now, but they supply this little screwdriver. Pretty cool. So if you don't have a screwdriver to do all the work, they supply it for you. So nice little touch. I do appreciate that. But yeah, there we go. There is the M3 seat badge light hardwire kit. Very, very cool. Happy it's done. Happy everything went smoothly, and it got me exactly what I was looking for. And yes, I know some people are going to ask the question, it still functions exactly the same way. So if you unlock the vehicle, the lights still turn on just like it did prior. Really cool. I like it. You can see it through the window. All right, guys, that is going to do it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. Really like that little look straight through the glass, especially at night. It's going to look awesome. Huge shout out to Mod Emporium once again. Thank you for answering all my questions. Thank you for getting me this kit to me super quick. This came in about 2 days, and everything worked perfectly. So if you guys are interested in picking up this kit, I'm going to leave a link below, but that's going to do it for this one. If you have any questions at all, be sure to ask them below. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.